Hey, Shalom. We'll start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Wahawa Kakwadash. Peace and salutations to the like men of Israel, starting with the elder apostles of GMS on down to the rest of you brothers and the brothers I labor with, who all push forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and all faith, truth, and sincerity according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say Shalom. This is just a quick lesson, just through the spirit. I was just watching the elder brother you call his lesson. Just touching on a specific topic in regards to our Friday night highways, right? When we was at camp, we had these three demons come up, scoffing, mocking, and just all over the place, really, ignorance, weak magic, but the elder he had brought out Ephesians 6:12, and it was just interesting because something that the Spirit had hit me with reading that verse was the spiritual wickedness in high places. I'm gonna just read it real quick. This is Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, right? And you got to understand, right? The rulers of darkness in this world, the spiritual wickedness in high places, right? That's Satan and Esau, Edom, working together side by side, right? Hashatan and Satan, Hashatan and Esau, Edom, who the world ignorantly, knows and calls them by so-called white people. They are working together to bring forth a slew of wickedness, and you can't neglect the characteristics. You can't neglect, the different signs, that's put forth. Like you could tell when you go back into the history, like you going into to Exodus, right, and you're reading about Israel being in captivity to Pharaoh in Egypt. You could tell Pharaoh was a wicked man, and the Lord professed it so, right. That's why the Lord went on to reject him and kill him, and all his hosts, right? His fleet and his army, So in likeness, you should be able to see the train of events that have happened since, the history that's ultimately just like promoted and pushed in schools and education, within this Western world, and in America, and the daughter of Babylon, right? You're able to see the wickedness that this ruler pushes forth, and it's all coming from, the mother of harlots, right? It's coming from Babylon the Great, Great Britain, coming from the Rothschilds, right? The top of the wicked, the wicked elite, the so-called, Joes, small hats. So it was just something that just had came to mind, and a few scriptures, came to mind just to add to the point. This is Proverbs 29 and verse 2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, right? Proverbs 29 and 2. So right now you see that the world is mourning, all throughout. All kind of wickedness is going on, and it's all because of who has the most influence, you know, which is Esau Edom. Esau Edom's got the most influence right now. You see every other country trying to do things like Esau, you know, which is to really break the covenant and do things according to their flesh, do as they will, do things that's according to wickedness and not things of the Lord, you know. But what was it? I wanted to get the scriptures that show that these people are in high places, you know. You got Lamentation 4, I believe it's 18 or 19 that go on to say it. Yeah, 19. It says, I'm going to start at 19 and then read 18 through 19. It says, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. You see? And the eagles in the heavens being the sky, right? So that's an example of being in a high place, right? But again, you look at this nation's, national bird, who likes to use that as a emblem, a symbol, for them is America. They use the eagle for that, It says they pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. You see? Verse 18, it says, they hunt our steps that we cannot go into our cities. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. You see? And then the NLT says we are doomed. Right? Now, for those that don't know, the scriptures say right here, Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he? Right? So this here is showing you that the wicked are running the earth right now. Right? When you look at who's running the earth, being again Esau Edom, the so-called white man, all they're doing is wickedness. Their way of operating and dealing with business is by stealing, killing, destroying. They do everything by violence. Right? Micah 2. It says, Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Right? You look at Esau Edom, the so-called white man's history, right? All you see is him stealing, killing, destroying, pillaging, robbing, raping, all different slew of wickedness, and I can't even just say killing, murdering, unjustly, unrighteously, right? Killing the innocent, killing people that are at peace with him, going against those he makes a covenant with, right? Just to get to get off and be more proud, add more pride to himself. But like the scriptures say, pride goes before destruction, But all these things are happening with Satan right along with him. They do these things under the power of Satan, right? You got Luke 4. This is in a moment where Satan tried Yahweh Shai. But really, Satan went on to tell himself too, nonetheless. Right? I'm going to read through. It says, and Yahweh Shai, being full of the Holy Spirit, returned from Jordan, and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being 40 days tempted of the devil. And in those days he did eat nothing. And when they were ended, he afterward hungered. It's like, I'm going to just jump straight to the point. I'm gonna start at 5. It says, and the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, shewed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them. Right? See, that's the point. It says, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me. You see? It says, and whomsoever I will give it. So he's got a power in this world, right? He specifically controls the power within this world in regards to who he could give it to, right? But the catch is, verse 7, if thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine. You see? So Esau works right along with Satan, you know, to be able to receive all of these things. And all that comes through him doing wicked. Him rejecting and denying the Lord. You know? That's why you got to understand these are, two wicked entities working together. You know? Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Right? Against powers and against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You see, that spiritual wickedness is all amongst the rulers of this world, because again, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. So it's not just something to be looked at as it being something carnal. You got to understand this is something carnal and spiritual. You can't just look at it at face value. You got to see and understand, okay, Satan really doing his job, working through these damn devils. So, it's something just to be mindful of, something to really pay attention to. It just further shows how serious this is, because so many people within the world that's going to really be a part of that 2/3, they not paying attention to this. They not giving the Spirit to see and understand these things, So for those of you that have, take heed, right? I end it here. This is Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. Right? Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. You see? So this isn't the place to be getting caught up in and getting invested in, getting lost in the sauce in, getting laxed in, because this whole place is ran by the wicked. That's why you're not free. You still gotta go to your fucking enemy, the man that enslaved you. Right, so much to the point to where he should destroy your heritage. Right, for food, water. You know what I'm saying? And clothes and raiment. That's why these aren't the things to hold of high esteem, to hold of value, but hold the Lord of value, of the utmost of value. With food and raiment, where, you know what I'm saying, up there, and be content. Be glad, that the Lord allow you to receive these things, but make sure that you doing these things and you operate always within the Lord. Doing things for him and not for Esau Edom. Not for these wicked devils that only look to be against you, not for you. Romans 16:17, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to doctrine, which ye have learned, right, and avoid them. So that goes for Esau Edom and the wicked goofy mugs of our people, that coon out to them. It says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. So don't be simple. Be wise, right? Be circumspect. Pay attention to what's going on, and don't get caught caught lacking. Because this man, right along with Satan, he looked to devour you like a roaring lion. So that's pretty much the point. No one is edifying with that. I'm going to give honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakak Wadash. Till next time, Shalom.